Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. This is not Sunday night. It's not regular shop talk, but we have a special report. Last week's show, we were talking about the king of the baggers, and we got you guys a backstage pass. We have embedded reporters right there. The teams are pulling in now. Everybody's setting up. Nobody's even seen these bikes yet, and we're lucky enough to have Mr. Rob Buydos, boots on the ground, bringing you the information first and foremost. Rob, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man, I feel like the Cub reporter over here. I feel like Jimmy Olsen on Superman. You guys having me on live from Laguna Seca. The bikes are pulling in, and I'm going to take you on a little walk here shortly. But, it's crazy to be here. The weather's ideal. The teams are all excited. They're walking around getting ready for a big photo shoot that the folks from Drag Specialties and Don Emdy from Drag Magazine are going to do with the gang from Moto America. And the talk with Moto America is they want this thing back. We haven't even done it yet, and they want us back.
Dude, and how crazy is it, man, that like after all the talking about this, the back and forth about what it would be, what it would look like, who would actually participate, and it's there. You guys are on the track of all tracks getting ready to put this thing down.
Well, it's really funny how the whole thing came about. I had been, just like you, traveling the country for a lot of years, and I've been to Daytona, I've been to Sturgis, many of the other events from Myrtle Beach, on and on. And you have amazing bike shows. I mean, the whole Cycle Source bike show scene is loaded with everything from choppers to baggers, FXRs, and things. And a handful of years ago, I've noticed that the baggers, I mean, the big wheel craze was still in full effect, but a lot of these guys were starting to really go back to the performance world. They were lightening things up. They were going with oversized brakes, big, tall suspension, a lot of carbon fiber. Things became real minimalist rather than the kind of traditional Harley where, you added and added and added. All of a sudden, weight and performance became a big thing. And as these bikes got closer to being done, I noticed that, these things weren't going to win a bike show in the traditional sense. I said the best way to portray them is to throw them on a racetrack. So Brock Glover and I, a Hall of Famer from the AMA, a motocross superstar, we were down in Pittsburgh International Raceway. I know you've been there a number of times. And we were walking around with Wayne Rainey, who's the president of Moto America, and we were showing him all the Harleys in the parking lot, and he's like, oh, man, this is crazy. I said, Ryan, what's even crazier is that people are turning these things into performance bikes with ground clearance, with performance, with brakes, with the ergonomics that would kind of put you in an attack position, if you will. And I said, we should go road racing. And he's like, well, no kidding. 2 weeks after that call, he called me, he goes, okay, let's do it. Well, I didn't think we had enough time to get the bikes that I wanted built and to get the riders that I think we needed to really showcase what these bikes are. So jump ahead to this year, we're supposed to do Laguna Seca in July. Well, COVID comes in and everything gets canceled. So now they back us all the way up to October. Well, that gave the guys way more time to build these crazy ass bikes. And that's exactly what we have here. Some of the fastest, best braking, biggest ground clearance, most incredible bikes ever. And then once the folks from Drag Specialties heard about it with the Fat Book, they said, hey, we sell 90% of those parts. Let's jump on board. And we find ourselves here today.
Right on, man. And this is funny too, because like you saw some of this stuff coming from Yaffe and the guys that were deep into this, but I think that crossover point between the young guys coming up with the FXR crowd, and these are guys that are coming off of the superbike tracks and the motocross tracks, and I don't think a lot of us in this industry saw this segment of the market coming.
There was certainly, it's still a lunatic fringe side of it. I mean, hey, there's way more choppers than there are performance baggers in the world, but we are definitely making a march towards that. And as we get more and more and more of these guys and gals that are building these bikes, Moto America has already expressed an interest in having more and more of these races. So the guys, the companies and were not invited to this first one. And the reason I had to invite people was so that we had some control over it, in the sense that we didn't want to give ourselves a black eye first time out of the gate. So rather than have hundreds of bikes show up and us not knowing how to control that, we thought we'd go with a real limited number. We got with the companies through the Drag Specialties Fat Book that really, really catered to those types of bikes. Yeah. And we have them here. I got somebody that just stopped in real quick. His name's Alex Fox. He's the youngest owner of any of these companies, barely into his 30s. and he has one of the best bikes here. Alex, not only are you a family member with the Drag Specialties crew, but you went above and beyond, and you got the Carbon Fiber Express over there.
Yeah, we're excited. We're about to do a tech inspection here pretty soon, and I mean it's outfitted with carbon front to back, along with a handful of other parts that help cut weight. We shed about 270 pounds off the stock Harley and turned it into a true performance bagger. It's ready to do some road racing this weekend, so it's pretty exciting.
Why don't you and I take a walk over to this bad boy, and let's show everybody what we're talking about here. I'm going to
Yeah, I had a real quick clip on the screen of it, man, but I imagine that's nothing compared to what it's like in person.
see here, my flip the screen. All right, Alex, here we go. We're going to start at the front. So take us through here.
All right, so in the front, we went with a company called Ride with the wheels. Those wheels are about 20 pounds less than the stock wheels. You got my carbon fender. If you move over here, we have the lower legs that were built by Alloy Art. Diamond Lane cycle tubes. This is a complete one-off race carbon fiber front fairing. If you want to go in there a little bit, we have my triple clamp setup with GP front end suspension.
Tell us about the significance of the number 9 that adorns this bike.
That represents my father and his successful racing career with that number.
Right on.
Ian Fox, IndyCar racer, the king of midgets. I mean, man.
Yeah, he was the last guy to make a connection with open wheel midgets to IndyCar racing.
Let's get back into motor here because the boys at Fueling have stepped up amazing.
So this motor here is a 124. I actually bought this bike from Fueling. It's a 2017 Road Glide. Fueling bought this bike because it was the first year of the M8, and this was their guinea pig to get all their stuff figured out for the M8 motor.
Down on the bottom, people are going to wonder, is that a scoop or that's a little more than a scoop?
That's a belly pan that we got there. That's a requirement of road racing, and we'll catch any particular oil that may spill on the track.
There's our friends pulling a big giant metal thing around. That's what you hear in the background. It's not scary. Let's look at this gas tank right here. Alex, just climb on there real fast and show us what these would do for an ability to ride.
So this is a knee-pocketed tank. We have completely painted it, but it is made out of carbon fiber.
Wow. Yeah, buddy.
We get to the wheels. Now you think about the biggest wheel they've done on Bagger, 34 inches. This one's down to a 17-inch wheel right now. So we kind of cut the custom wheel Bagger market in half on the wheels.
Unfortunately, you can't get good tire options with anything above a 17.
Let's get to the back of the bike here and look at the suspension.
So in the back, I've went with Legend. Can't go wrong with the Legends. Very popular company within the industry.
Tried and true, baby.
I tell your folks at home, I apologize for the crazy noise, but it's a racetrack. We've got some noise going on in the background. We get over to this side, and there's some interesting components over here as well when you're looking at what they're coming up with. We've seen the tank and we've seen the big Behringer brakes, but how about this setup down here? Mid-mount controls and the carbon fiber clutch cover.
Dude.
So yeah, we went with the Performance Machine mid controls. Closest thing we could get to rear sets. Unfortunately, there's no out-of-the-box rear sets that are designed for baggers, so the mid controls is what we went with. This is a one-off carbon fiber primary cover. The reason being is the primaries do happen to scrape on the track.
So
back here, light swing arm, chain conversion, again, Behringer in the rear.
And the Alloy Art swing arm, we went ahead and polished that, and it came out pretty bitchin'. Ride wheels with their sprocket setup, and then chain conversion. What else? Carbon bags, front to back.
So fully operational carbon bags, all. And what would something like this lop off when you're talking about weight? You mentioned 270 pounds off it.
The total bike, yes. These bags, the whole setup is 5 pounds.
Making sure that the rider stays locked into the cockpit. What are we doing for a seat here?
Our Sly Fox seat that we teamed up with Saddleman to build. It's got an aggressive lumbar support here with gripper material, and it's slimmed down so they can get more into the ride and into that tank.
Hey Rob,
I'll tell you what,
can we get a little bit of insight on on what it was like for these guys testing? I mean, did any of them test together? What was the adjustment period?
Testing was definitely a must. We learned a lot of things that we needed to go ahead and modify on this bike. Luckily for me, my rider said it felt like a true race bike, so we had a successful test day. The only things that we really tweaked was the grips and a few other minor adjustments to the rotors and such.
You know, when these guys started building them again, they were supposed to race in July, and they wouldn't have had quite as much time to get as much done.
It wouldn't happen.
COVID hits, and we get 5 extra months, and you guys said, well, let's see what else we can get into.
Yeah, it went a little outside the box, you know, from the original meeting and putting this event together to now. You know, it got a little bit more aggressive and competitive, and you know what, we're all ready to race and get in and have a good time and see what comes of it. You know, I think this will open people's eyes to what these bikes are actually capable of on the track.
Well, what I'm going to do for you folks over here, thanks a lot, Alex. I'll let you get back to work. I'm going to take you on a little tour. Now, we're over here in the PM area, and we're going to zero in over here on their bike. Now, they've brought some of their display bikes, and this one here is pretty amazing as itself, but they went lightweight. They wanted to add, you know, all the performance they could get. Obviously, PM in the wheel business created these 17-inch front wheels, the Sly Fox front fender, the very potent motor that they put together. They too went aluminum swing arms. I think in the performance game, we're going to see the aluminum swing arms, the front ends, the brakes, the motor, the seat, and the handlebars. And, you know, you'll see the majority of these handlebar setups are a riser, high-end master cylinders and brakes, and almost like a motocross or a super bike bar. You know, they went with the carbon fiber on the tank, a lot of air cleaner and motor mods. Great looking bike, carbon fiber back fender, all of their sponsors.
So Rob,
whip around the.
Do you know what we're?
Here's my buddy Rob Silva. Rob, say hello to everybody back home there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fruit Cup, California.
It is a little bit unique out here right now with all of the different areas. And you can see we're still in the process of setting up these trucks, but this is the Vance and Hines rig, and they partnered up with the gang at Harley Davidson. So you got Indianapolis, where their Skunk Works department is, down to this bike over here, and this is their brand new build. I think a lot of people saw some of the teaser shots on this bike, but they haven't quite seen what the boys at Vance and Hines created.
Yeah, buddy.
You look zero in. Again, lightweight. Lightweight is the method of the day. Big motors, giant brakes. Now, these folks went with an upside-down Öhlins front end. Very familiar in motocross, supercross, road racing, superbike, but a little bit unique here to Harley. All carbon inlay on the dash. You see the small speedometer there. And again, the risers and like a motocross bar setup. 131-inch Harley Davidson motor. A lot of unique things here. We can't wait to see the bike on the track. They got a hell of a rider that's going to be riding it. Now we go over to somebody that went slightly unique. He goes, not only is hundreds of horsepower enough, I want 200 horsepower. And I'm sorry about the shadow there, but our friend Nick Trask and the Trask crew, full carbon fiber bags, full carbon fiber fenders. This seat, if you folks look at it, you know, this would be probably where a regular seat would be. This one,
Yeah.
Back to the bolt. Very small cockpit here for these road racers. Now, this is a true set of rear sets. They manufactured these. These aren't mid-mount. That would be up in this area. But that's where their turbo dumps. And that's right, folks. I said turbo. So these are rear sets that the gang from Trask developed. They have clip-on handlebars. Instead of the traditional risers, they're going to have their rider in a very forward, aggressive position. He'll be able to put that front wheel wherever he wants and get this 200 horsepower turbocharged. Look at this, gang. We've had road racing in America forever. I don't believe there's ever been a turbocharged bike that has raced in a Moto America race ever. I'd have to say I'm pretty positive about that.
And you know what
They
I gotta
too
say,
went with
Rob, about this whole thing. And I mean, I'm through and through undeniably a chopper guy, but this really speaks to like the Americana of, you know, hot rod and motorhead stuff in racing. You know, when you think about the kind of bikes that are going to be out at a Road America track and, you know, Moto America doing this stuff, this is really like hot rod influence coming back into this.
Well, I mean, the chopper guys, they fabricated and made everything that they've ever wanted to work. And this is kind of like the same thing, except these choppers, instead of being long and lean and low, are lean weight-wise, but they're still running the traditional bags. They still have the fairings. It still has that look, but these guys have really gone above and beyond. And instead of the big wheel bagger market was a lot of, you had to cut the frame and do some things. These are more, you kind of get the Drag Specialties Fat Book out and you order a seat, you order the risers, the bars, the fueling cams or S&S or Daryl Bassani pipe or on and on and on. And you could build one of these. I'm going to go visit my buddy Chance Darling right now over at Barnett. Now Chance was a flat track racer a handful of years ago. And as soon as he heard about this, he was actually talking about maybe strapping the shoe back on and getting back on it. His wife said, no, you're going to come home and look after the kids. This is my friend Chance right here. You remember him from his flat track days?
Yes, sir.
Chance, 131 cubic inches of fast, huh?
Yeah, about 145 horsepower, so not too bad.
Not bad at all. Of course, the Barnett clutch is a must-have. You can build all the power you want. If you can't get it out of there, you need that clutch.
That's right. It's got to work. Got to hook up and go.
What would you say is the most unique thing about your bike after looking at all these? And I'm going to give them a little.
Kind of how it still looks like a stock bike.
Yeah.
Compared to everybody else's.
So what you're saying is you actually followed the rule book that we wrote.
Yeah, pretty much. Try to.
Yeah, well, this is something very unique here. The number 48. And again, tell me who your rider is.
Josh Chisholm.
So he's got some street cred as well.
He's run the XR 1200s and the 883 series and all that.
Is that him right there?
That's him right there.
Can I get a little word? How you doing, Josh Chisholm?
Good. How are you?
What was it like the first time you threw this bad boy into a corner on the track?
Pretty scary. A little different than what we're used to.
I'll get a little closer so the fans at home. This is the gangs at Cycle Source that are checking you out. And, one of the few magazines left in publication. And Chris has done everything from make a movie about Sturgis this year to do something. But when he heard about this, he said, hey, man, get us a little look at what's going on. And here you are. Where are you from?
I was born and raised right across the road. I've lived in Bakersfield for probably 20 years now. So it's kind of weird to come back home and ride a road race bike here. So it's pretty cool.
Well, it should be a good time, and I wish you best of luck out there. Take a little look here. We got mid mounts on this one as well. The aluminum swing arm, as I've said. Trick front end. The guys at Legend, Jesse Jerns and the crew. Big part of the Drag Fat Book. So they have a cool cartridge fork kit and a rear set of shocks that help out quite a bit. So this is the folks from Barnett Performance. This is their enter. That's Steve Watt. He built a bike with Daryl Bassani. We're going to make our way over there shortly. So I'm going to, hi Steve, give you a little high five there. We're going to rock over to Roland Sands now. He's one of the two Indian bikes that is locked into this. So we have two Indians, one built by S&S and one built by Roland Sands. And take a look here. We're getting close.
What kind of
a lot of carbon fiber.
What kind of lap times are we talking about here, man? Do you have any?
Well, they haven't been on the track here yet, but if you've watched any of the videos that Ben Bostrom or any of the guys put up, they were passing. And now, when you're Ben Bostrom, you don't go out in the B group or the C group. You go out in the A group, and there's tons of videos of him passing sport bikes. One of the guys that here's a really trick seat that Roland built. See where it gets his rider. Yeah. Again, tons of carbon fiber all up through the front end. We've got the Indian Challenger liquid cooled motor, chain drive. Again, aluminum swing. I think these come with aluminum swing arms. The Indian stainless pipe. Again, everybody going with the 17-inch wheel, giant brakes, the catch plans underneath. you know, race stands. You get a little bit of this side as well.
Yeah, Roland was
A lot of
probably
lightweight
super
stuff.
fired up for this.
And look at the bottom of this here. This could be a big factor. See the way they shave that primary on the bottom?
Yeah.
This track's loaded with left-hand corners. So they wanted to make sure that they had a little bit extra to make sure that bike makes it around the corners.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're doing good. We'll have a chance maybe to get an interview with Roland. He's going to be showing up a little bit later today. So we're going to move over to Alloy Art now. Hi, everybody. Say hi to everybody at Cycle Source.
Hi, how are you?
See, kids love bagger road racing. Okay. Now, this is my friends from Alloy Art. Robbie Lane and his crew. Now, they're still thrashing a bit on getting the final project done, but Robbie builds the front ends, the swing arms, and he builds one of the best chassis stabilizers in the game. I know you get these big hogs putting out big horsepower, carrying big speed, and the next thing you need to do is make sure that the thing doesn't wiggle woggle you down the road. So they have that. What's it called? My friend, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Tell me about the stabilizer.
Stabilizer is one of the best in the game.
Let's get a look at it if we can. Where do we go?
Right here off this side.
Okay.
It runs all the way across the back. Oh, and it hooks to the back of the start.
I'm gonna get on that side. I'm gonna get you a little look at that side as well.
So the bracket right there.
And again, this is something that the folks at home that want to make sure that their baggers don't wiggle waggle going down the road. You put this state. There's my friend Robbie Lane right there.
How you doing, Rob?
I do. We got the gang from Cycle Source on here. We're on one of their little things. Yeah, and we're looking at everything. Fastest wrist in the West. Look at him going. Just tightening that thing up.
A lot of practice with that wrist.
A lot of practice. A lot of good times. So this is the Alloy Art entry. And again, Robbie builds the front end. He builds that stabilizer, the swing arm. And if you know what that thing is, gang, that's probably, what, about 40 pounds on their bikes, maybe more?
The stock one's 28. This one's 7.
So that's a full subframe that holds your bags, your back fender, your seat. I mean, everything you could imagine, except they lopped off tons of weight. Will this be something that the folks at home, if they want it, can get it someday?
Limited production.
Limited? All right, just get a hold of Alloy Art. Check that out. Best of luck to you. We have a photo shoot and things coming up shortly. Come over and see my friend Brandon here. Hey. What's up, buddy? Speed Merchant.
Speed Merchant.
Sure. Now, you want to see how sexy you are. So this is their build. Now, they were able to get some Screaming Eagle performance. They got the 131-inch Harley-Davidson engine in their bike. They've got the big Screaming Eagle air cleaner. Again, you see they've got the aluminum swing arm like Alloy Art, carbon fiber everywhere, the catch pan, upside down forks, the 17-inch wheel. Move around to the front. All carbon fiber fairing. They got the Dunlop tires. Now, Dunlop was the official sponsor of this, so they were able to partner up and get some of the Q tires, the real slick, sticky ones. And again, mid-mount controls. Now, Brandon, real quick, come here real quick. You've got an oil cooler mounted back basically where the leg goes. And again, we're going to be 60 degrees, so it's not going to be cool, but this will keep temperatures.
It should cool it a little bit better because it's going to cool it off right before it drops back into the secondary.
Yeah,
when you were building this bike, I know that you guys have been on the track a couple times. What was the biggest challenge with taking one of these to the racetrack?
Weight and ground clearance. That was the biggest challenge.
And how did you combat that?
Our new mid controls that we just released with Drag Specialties. We raised the pegs up a tiny bit more, and this custom exhaust here on this side.
Dude, I love
Come
those
around.
controls. I love those controls.
Foot peg before you'll hit any of those exhausts.
So the foot peg will hit before the exhaust because it's on top. And then obviously exotic all the way through on the exhaust. Is that Super Trap on the back there?
That's a Screaming Eagle muffler.
Screaming Eagle muffler. Okay, I saw the disc back there. I wasn't sure. Another Speed Merchant seat. You guys sell that, right?
Yep.
Made
by Cattleman here.
Made by our friends at South. We haven't even got over there yet. And a very limited gauge package up here. Just enough to tell you what's going on with the bike. Again, carbon fiber on top. And this is the Speed Merchant entry. They'll be riding bike number 150. And Who's your rider?
Tony Salima.
Tony Sleeman. He's been around the track a few times, hasn't he?
He's been around a few times. He's gotten really comfy on this bike.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Best of luck to you. A little knuckle punch for you folks at home there. Basically, that bike started off as that bike.
Yep.
And you can see that there's been some drastic changes in between here. There's more of the teams pulling in, but I got a couple more bikes I want to show you before I let you guys go. They've got, like I said, the photo shoot, a riders meeting coming up. And we're going to get down here just a little bit. Sorry about the walking, gang.
Oh, you're good.
Pro pitch,
this is a real treat for all of us, dude. This is special.
So this is Laguna Seca. You see try to zero in. There's the corkscrew banner at the top up there.
Buddy. The infamous.
So this is it. This is legit. Wayne Rainey. Man, the screen's got to be probably making your belly sick. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we come over on this side. And like I said, I got Bassani and a few other guys still showing up, but we'll get you through everybody that's here so far. And again, over the course of the next few days, we'll get you some great stuff as well. But
yeah, that's what I was going to tell you, man. Like, we'll make sure that we have this thing plugged in and ready to go. And throughout the next couple of days, anytime you have a couple minutes.
Hey, I know you're a fan of this stuff, Chris, so this is going to blow your mind, right? So this is the fueling bike right here. Okay. Yeah. Still got a license plate on it.
Yeah.
Oh, sponsor stickers. The Mouth of the South. How you doing? Hey, how you doing? Cycle Source Magazine. Me and Luke's been on there a couple times. So they built the fueling number 77 bike. They got the big motor out of it. They did all that. Hold on. Before we do this, then let's find out who's riding the bike. Hi, Ben Bostrom.
Hi, Rob.
Ben, what's up?
So this morning we're sitting having breakfast this morning, and he's like, "Man, I can't wait to do this." See here,
take a photo of this guy. Take a photo.
Right,
I told my wife I was gonna take a photo. She was trying to remember you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I can appreciate that with you at home, as pretty as you are. So, what are we doing?
Well, we're racing this fueling Harley Davidson.
Let's go over and look at it.
I haven't driven up that hill in 8 years, so it felt kind of weird. I made to take a photo for my brother at the time that we got stuck on that hill in 1995 or 96 because we couldn't climb the hill because we had too many Harley Davidsons in the motorhome. Believe it or not, we got stuck on the hill. We clogged up traffic for like an hour. So I'll get a shot for him. But we're racing this thing, King of the Baggers class. There's about 15 bikes on the grid. It's more like a bike show, but I know a race is going to break out.
Well, and you've done some Boz bike shows back in the day, and you always said, man, I wish these guys would take them to the track. This is kind of your dream as well as mine. You're going to take the bike show to the track.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I just can't wait to go ride around out there again. The track there's something kind of special about it. I can't say I'm not a little bit nervous because I know what happens when racers put helmets on. A race breaks out. That's what happens. So it should be good. I'm really hoping to be a close race. And I know there's going to be a couple of these things on the ground. It's really sad. They're like art.
Well, hopefully not this number 77 machine. Obviously, they've got a fork brace on their bike. That's one of the companies that's going a different way. Again, mid-mount controls. They've got some carbon fiber sprinkled throughout the bike. Giant horsepower coming out of this machine. Fueling prides themselves on not only being able to keep the bike in the high horsepower, giant torque, but reliability has always been their specialty as well. They take the little glitches that gives bikes a tough time, and they obviously fix them up. They have a catch pan like everybody else on this one. Another stepped up saddleman seat to give Ben a little bit more height and get a little more aggressive. This will be the cockpit view that he's going to have. Now, what's crazy is Luke said, hey, when I'm done with this, I'm going to ride the thing home maybe. So he left all the gauges, the license plate on the back. I think he's going to put one of those lights like a miner on his helmet and then just ride it back all the way to Oceanside.
Dude, and can I just say, like, Ben is probably one of my all-time favorite racers. I cannot wait to see him on.
We're on Cycle Source Magazine. He didn't even know. He thought I was doing this for my mom or something. No, this is Cycle Source Magazine. You're in front of 17 million people right now.
Yeah, that sounds like a big number.
It's a big number. It's Cycle Source.
17 million. Yeah, whatever.
220, 221.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know that one. I'm like an electrician. Yeah. Whatever it takes. 220, 221. No, I'm pretty excited. The Fueling Boys have put together a beautiful bike, and I think they have one of the best looking bikes out there. Looks real simple, but I know it's not. this bike's changed a lot since the last time I rode it, which was last Saturday, actually. And I know how long it takes to change this little stuff, being a ex-Harley mechanic in a way. I worked 2 years at Bartels. I know how long these little things take to change. I just can't believe it. It's a lot of work, this bike. And don't even ask to change a countershaft sprocket, apparently.
No, we're going to leave that one alone. Luke, any parting words as I get ready to head out to the next camp?
What's up, Chris?
What's up, boss?
Haven't seen him since, well, you went to Sturgis this year. Chris was there for the whole time, and I didn't go. I'm a big sissy.
What's going on?
That's all you got?
All
right, no parting words?
He's getting his race face on.
Chris, what do you want, Chris?
What do I
last time I
want?
saw you, I think there was some shots involved, but
Well, that was when we were drinking in Sturgis. That was a good time.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is the bike.
Hey, wait a minute. You still got to pay me for those drinks. I bought all those drinks.
Oh, you did? I remember that. I better run out of this pit now. I'm going to owe this guy money. Any final words, my friend?
You know, go out there, pretend like we're not racing, and actually race.
That's
Yeah.
it.
This is
And
standard thing.
and we learned another thing. You don't
Yeah.
put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari, right?
We did learn a new term today. I appreciate that one.
All right, I'm going to head over here to our final entry here in this section. And it's the guys from Saddlemen. They were able to put this bike together with an incredible amount of effort and work and dedication. I'll start here at the back of the bike. Here's the lineup of sponsors. Custom paint. Hey, Wooly, you got a second? If you don't, I understand. I'll do it myself then. So they went full titanium exhaust on this, full carbon fiber. They got the knee pucks as well. They went upside down front forks, oversized brakes and rotors and calipers, 17-inch front wheel. They went with the mid-mount controls as well. A lot of handmade components on this bike, a lot of fabrication. They got the, the road race style grips, the road race style bars, everything a lot flatter so that these guys have a lot more leverage when they're throwing these things in the corner. And of course, one of the best quotes in all of road racing, right up there on the inside. Again, a full carbon front end.
Let's see.
And that's the look at the fueling bike.
Saddleman.
Saddleman bike. I say fueling.
Yeah.
We were just at fueling. See what's going on already? Here's the Saddleman rig. And then we'll finally wrap this little segment up of the tour of the paddock here with the, let me get these chairs out of the way. And that's the Drag Specialties King of the Baggers. This is how it's all going down. And I hope your friends and fans and fellow bagger crew kind of like this small little tour. There are a few more bikes that are coming in the next 15, 20 minutes, but we've got a riders meeting and some junk coming up. So
Right on, man. Well, listen, this was a super big treat for us. I appreciate the time that you put into it, and anything that you can do throughout the next few days. I'll have this ready to go. It's plug and play. I'm looking forward to really seeing this and see how this thing develops, man, because it's gone from dream to like an incredible undertaking for you in such a short amount of time.
Well, thanks a lot, Chris and Heather. I can't wait to see you guys again real soon. And for all you folks that are not here, we wish you could be here. And if this thing continues to grow and we're going to have more races next year, it is going to be open for anybody that wants to build one. We wanted to get through this first one, but from here on, if you guys and gals are at home and you want to get the toolbox out, get the Drag Specialty Fat Book out, I think we've got something for you for next year that's a little different than a bike show.
Right on, man. Right
Chris,
on.
I will see you soon. And for all the folks back there in Cycle Source land, have a great time. We'll bring you more updates from here at Laguna Seca. Drag Specialties, King of the Baggers.
Yes, sir. Good times, man. Good times. So listen, thanks for letting us bust in on your evening here. We wanted to make sure we brought you guys an update. Rob Buydos, nice enough to take some time and take us around the paddock there and show us what these guys are going to be riding. I'm super fired up for this. Mainly, like I said, I'm unapologetically a chopper guy, but I'll ride anything. I'll go to track days. I'll go to motocross races. I'll do cross country. And just the idea that this is something truly original and new in the motorcycle industry, dude, you guys all get this. Good luck. Hope it's a fantastic race. Like Rob said, we're going to be bringing you as many of these as we can get away with because we're kind of doing this on the whole stealth thing. So stick around, and we'll be back with you guys many times as we can.